Perfect. All set?
We're all set.
Yep.
Awesome. We would like to welcome 14-time PGA Tour winner Adam Scott to the virtual media room here at the Wyndham Championship. Adam, you're making your fourth start and first since 2015. What is it like to be back?
It's good. I've just heard good reports over the last few years about Sedgefield, and the work they've done on the greens looks great. It's a classic golf course, and I've enjoyed a couple days out there so far. So it's a good test. Definitely want to be playing from the short grass this week and hitting plenty of greens. So that'll be my focus, and I like the way I'm playing. I'm not liking the way I'm scoring, but I'm looking to change that this week.
And 121 in the FedEx Cup. Talk about how big this week is as you're trying to solidify your position for a deep run in the playoffs.
Yeah, it'd be good to have my best week of the year. I would have to say that's what I'm looking for this week. Certainly, coming here hoping to win, but to play some good golf and kind of jump up in the FedEx Cup would be fantastic going into next week. Obviously, a course I'm also very fond of. And you just never know. That's the beauty of the playoffs. You know, if you get hot at the right time, you can run all the way through to Atlanta, and that's my only strategy this time around.
Sounds like a good strategy. With that, we will open up with media. We're going to go over to Bob Herrick with ESPN.
Hey, thanks, Adam.
Yeah.
Appreciate your time. Obviously, this has been a difficult period for all of us, but for you especially as it relates to golf, it sounds like your difficulties with travel and quarantining and such have really impacted you. I wonder if you could speak to that generally, and also just, do you have an example or two of just a really trying circumstance where you either got stuck at home or couldn't get back over here due to the various restrictions?
Yeah, I think it's been frustrating, and it's just been the accumulation, I think, of the restrictions and what that's left me not being able to do, whether it's practice or train or many changes this year, very limited time with my coach. I ended up not even working with my trainer this year because it was just impossible to actually get together. A lot of time away from the family because I ended up coming in blocks to the States, and that certainly had some effect for sure. And then just the biggest mistake I think I made was not lowering my expectations on the golf course at the start of the year and thinking I was just going to play like a champion the whole time, even though nothing was really operating at the level I normally do. So I'm trying to give myself a bit more of a mental break with my expectations at the moment, and I'm actually playing okay, but I think a little bit of fatigue has certainly been in there, and I just need to let go a little bit. I have a few examples of quarantines and things like that. Even recently, I couldn't return home from the Open Championship because the UK was on the red list for Switzerland, and I had to go to Spain for a week just to get home. But and that sounds nice. I know Spain was absolutely fine, but I'd been away 7 weeks at that point, and I really would have just liked to go home. But I'm not complaining about anything. I've made a lot of these decisions, and I'll live with whatever it is. But from a golf side of things, if I'd just lowered my expectations a bit, I think the frustration levels would have been down.
If I could just follow really quickly to clarify, is your family not allowed to come with you over here, or did you just make the decision not to have them come? Was it too difficult? I mean, obviously as a sports person, you had some exemptions.
Yeah, no, they were allowed to come, but I just felt certainly last year and even earlier this year with the restrictions and COVID still being a problem, testing, not being vaccinated earlier in the year, all those things, and me having to test negative to be able to play was very restricted. We don't have a base over here, and so we felt best they didn't, and the kids were able to stay in school at home. So thought that was a good outcome for them.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Now over to Adam Schupak with Golf Week.
Hey Adam, a couple quick ones for you. They just announced that Justin Rose was named the Payne Stewart Award winner, and I just want to get your thoughts on him receiving that honor.
Well, that's great. I didn't know that. That's fantastic, and thoroughly deserved. I think he represents everything the Payne Stewart Award holds, and he joins a great list of winners of that. So I'm pretty thrilled for him. It's a very nice honor, that's for sure.
Okay. And for this week, what is being on the bubble? What's that pressure feel like to you?
Look, I feel like I'm actually my game is in pretty good shape, so I'm not too stressed about it. I feel like if I just have a solid week, I can get myself in contention and certainly move up and make sure I'm heading to the playoffs. But that's really all I'm trying to do. I'm not really stressing about making it or not. I'm just going to go and play this tournament, and I'd really like to try and get myself in contention and have a shot at winning something. That's really what I'm thinking about.
Okay, thanks.
With Golf Digest, we have Shane Ryan.
Hi, Adam.
Hey.
I'm just following up on something Bob had mentioned earlier. You have a particularly, I think, unique perspective on the differences in how your country and our country have handled the pandemic. And you've had a front row seat for that because it's affected you in a huge way, because it's kind of restricted, like you said, how much you can see your family, how much you can travel. So I just thought maybe I'd ask just for some thoughts on, again, this unique seat you have looking at this. What has that been like, and kind of what do you think of all that?
Well, I don't know that it's a good thing. It's constantly evolving. I mean, Australia's having a lot of issues at the moment because of their kind of policies toward the virus, and that's very frustrating. What my perspective is overall is probably it's very frustrating when you live in one place with a policy and you're operating also in another place with a different policy. That made it very, very difficult this year. And, I think the US and the UK is seemingly really learning how to live with the virus now, and it seems like making some progress. There's probably still some ups and downs to come, but seems like really moving forward. And now I find it frustrating, that Australia is maybe lagging behind at the moment and have very strict measures over the virus, and basically means I'm not going home anytime soon, and I'm more concerned now about getting to see my parents and them getting to see grandkids that they haven't seen for a long time, and some they've never met. So, there are all those things, lots of people dealing with this, but it was, I think, operating or working in one environment and trying to live in the other environment was the toughest thing.
I appreciate that. Thanks, Adam.
No worries.
Now we have Ben Everell with pgatourcom.
Thank you. Hey, mate.
Hey.
Well said. I was trying to go there, but yeah, I just wanted to delve into that. Do we take for granted that we don't get to see extended family when it comes to international players in this situation? The other players, are they? I guess, is it a bigger deal than people might realise? Police talked about it last week. He got reunited.
In
this, a big deal for him.
Absolutely, I understand it. It's in this circumstance it is because we're used to not having maybe that support system around us. If not even for us, but for the the grandkids and the family to have their extended family around them is something, and we're used to not having it all the time, but this is an extraordinary long time that we haven't had any support of family around, and I think that gets to people after a while for sure. And now at this point, Australia's kind of going backwards a little bit. It's not looking promising for later this year at the moment, so we'll have to deal with that. But certainly, I can imagine how many people have really suffered without, that kind of support or connection of being able to see your family, or certainly in some difficult times.
So with all that being said, how do you go about, I guess, creating the white line fever? You know what I mean? Like stepping onto the first tee and trying to shut everything else out and just being there for that.
Yeah, well, I think I had to, I don't know, earlier this year, maybe it was before the PGA Championship, I had to turn the news off, and I took every app off my phone, and just had to block some noise out. There's just so much going on every week. The rules of how I could get home or not or whatever was changing, and there was just so much happening, and it was very difficult to plan anything, and I just decided that I just need to focus on playing golf and quieten everything down and get my head on straight, and I think it's been much better since I did that.
Thanks, Legend. Have a good week.
Thank you.
Now over to Jeff Babineau with pgatourcom.
Hi, Adam.
Hi.
Jumped in a little late. Apologies if you were asked this, but I was curious to get your thoughts on this super season. We were forced into a season like no other, 6 majors, just a different cadence. And I'm curious from your standpoint, what were your thoughts on the challenges and just the pace of it?
Yeah, well, I didn't make the right adjustments, that's for sure, because I feel like it's really dragged on. I can't wait for the next season. However, I'm really looking forward to playing this week. I've been saying for a few weeks that my game feels good, and it hasn't shown up, and it still feels good. So I'm confident that there's some good results coming still, even in the next couple of weeks that we have in this season. But yeah, I missed the boat on finding the right cadence for the super season, and it certainly feels like here in the States that a lot of things are returning to a bit more normal, you would say, and hopefully as we go into next season, fall back into some old rhythms.
Good. Thanks.
Now over to Dylan Dethier with golf.com.
Yeah, Adam, you talked about managing that kind of information flow and getting apps off your phone, and you don't seem like you're maybe a huge social media user, but I was just wondering how you kind of decide to I don't know, what comes in and what doesn't come in, essentially.
Yeah, I think it's always, things are always changing, but everything got very busy this year. We had another child this year, lots of stuff happening. I was away from the family a lot, and news was going crazy, obviously, with so many different things happening all around the world. And I'm watching news in Australia, and I'm watching news in Switzerland, watching news in the States. Not a lot of positive stuff was going on, and most of it quite frustrating, certainly regarding travel. So, that trying to find that balance is something that's always evolving, and I think that quiet headspace is a good headspace for me, and just to be calm and ready to play golf, because we're trying to play at the highest level. I think, I neglected that kind of that mental side just for a little bit, and the last few months I certainly feel like I've had a better head on my shoulders for it.
Do you spend time on social media?
No, I don't. I don't have any of that. I do have YouTube, but you know, I'm guilty of watching YouTube and diving down some rabbit holes on that.
Thanks, Adam.
You got it.
Thank you, Adam, for taking the time, and we wish you the best of luck this week.
You got it. Thanks very much.